Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about electric motor. An electric motor is a rotating device that converts electrical energy to mechanical energy. So, an electric motor converts electrical energy to mechanical energy. Okay, so the energy conversion taking place in an electric motor is conversion of electrical energy into mechanical energy. In our previous video, we have seen that when a current carrying conductor is placed in an external magnetic field, a force acts on the current carrying conductor and the conductor displaces. A motor works on the principle that when a rectangular coil of conductor carrying current is placed in a magnetic field, a force acts on the coil and that force rotates this coil continuously. Electric motor, it is an important component in electric fans, mixers, washing machines, refrigerators, computers, music players, etc. Now, let us see how do an electric motor work. The figure of a simple electric motor is shown here. Here we have a rectangular coil of an insulated copper wire ABCD. Okay, this is a rectangular coil of insulated copper wire ABCD and it is placed between two poles of a magnetic field. Okay, north pole is kept here and south pole is kept here. The magnetic field is directed from north to south now. Okay, so the magnetic field is directed in this direction, that is from north to south, that is from left to right. The coil ABCD is placed between the two poles. So, the coil is in the magnetic field. The coil is placed in such a way that the arm AB and CD of the rectangular coil are perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. See, the magnetic field is directed in this direction from left to right. And see the arm AB, it is kept like this. Okay, AB is kept like this. So, they are perpendicular to each other. Okay, the coil ABCD is placed in this magnetic field in such a way that the arm AB and as well as CD of this rectangular coil are perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. Okay, here we have two halves of a split ring. This green colored one is a split ring. P and Q. One half is P, another one half of the split ring is Q. Split ring is used for reversing the direction of current in the coil every half rotation. The inner sides of these halves are insulated and attached to an axle here. So, this one is the axle. The end of this end of the coil A, that is actually connected to this half of the split ring, that is to P. And this end of the coil, that is D, is connected to this half of the split ring, that is to Q. Okay, the conducting outer edge of P touches a conducting stationary brush X and the outer edge of Q touches a conducting stationary brush Y. Brushes actually give an electrical contact between the stationary wires and the moving parts and hence conduct current between stationary wires and moving parts. Here we have a battery and a key connected to the two brushes X and Y using connecting wires. When the key is plugged in, when the key is plugged in, the circuit becomes a closed circuit and current starts to flow. See, current flows from the positive terminal to the negative terminal now. So, current will be flowing in this direction. Okay, like this. Current flows from the positive terminal of the battery to the negative terminal of the battery now. So, current flows like this. Okay, current flows like this and enters the coil ABCD through the brush X and flows back to the battery through the brush Y. Now, consider this arm AB of the coil. It is like a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field now. Okay, so there will be a force acting on this arm AB. To get the direction of force on the arm AB of the rectangular coil ABCD, we can make use of Fleming's left hand rule. To apply this rule, we just want to take our left hand. Then we want to stretch the thumb, forefinger and the middle finger, okay, of our left hand mutually perpendicular. If forefinger points in the direction of magnetic field, then middle finger to the direction of current and thumb points in the direction of force or motion of the conductor. That is what Fleming's left hand rule states. So you see, I'm just keeping my finger, I'm just taking the case of this arm AB of the rectangular coil, and I'm just keeping my forefinger, okay, that is this one, in the direction of magnetic field. So magnetic field is from this side to this side, that is left to right now. So I'm just keeping my forefinger in the direction of magnetic field, that is from left to right. Alright, then I want to keep my middle finger in the direction of current. See, for this arm AB, the current is flowing from here to here, A to B. Okay, that is like down to up. Okay, so I just want to keep my middle finger in that direction, but the direction of magnetic field should not change here. Okay, see, this is my forefinger. It is pointed from left to right, so that is in the direction of magnetic field. And my middle finger, it is pointed in this direction, that is in the direction of current through AB. Okay, through the arm AB. And my thumb, it is pointed downwards. Okay, you can see that my thumb is pointed downwards. What does that mean? The force, the thumb actually gives us the force acting on this arm AB or the motion of this conducting part. Okay, so there will be a force acting on this arm AB which pushes it downwards, because we got our thumb in the downward, which is directed in the downward direction. Okay, that is a force on arm AB is directed in the downward direction. That is a force acting on arm AB pushes it downwards. Okay, now consider this arm, that is CD of the coil. It is also like a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field. Okay, so there will be a force acting on this arm CD too. To get the direction of force on the arm CD, we can make use of Fleming's left hand rule. So again, I'm just taking my left hand. Okay, I'm just pointing my forefinger in the direction of magnetic field, that is from left to right. I want to point my middle finger in the direction of current. So for this arm CD, current is flowing from C to D. Okay, that is from like a top to bottom like that. Okay, so I'm just keeping my middle finger in the direction of current. Alright, so you can see that my thumb is pointed in the upward direction. Okay, my thumb was actually pointed in the upward direction. Alright, thumb actually gives us the direction of force acting on this arm CD. Thumb is pointed in the upward direction. Thumb was pointed in the upward direction. That is a force acting on this arm CD is in the upward direction. So the force acting on this arm CD is in the upward direction. Okay, that is the force acting on the arm CD pushes it upwards. So you just consider this as that coil ABCD. This end A is connected to the split ring P, and D is connected to the split ring, the part of the split ring, that is to Q. Okay, and we have seen that the force acting on this arm AB pushes it downwards, while the force acting on this arm CD pushes it upwards. So what happens? There is a force acting on this arm AB which is pushing it downwards, and there is a force acting on this arm CD which is pushing it upwards. So what happens? It will rotate like this now. That is, the rectangular coil ABCD rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. Clockwise means like this. Anti-clockwise means from here to here. Opposite to the direction of minute hand, second hand in a clock. Okay, so here the force acting on arm AB is in the downward direction. So that pushes the arm AB in the downward direction, and the force acting on arm CD, that is in the upward direction. So that force will push this arm CD in the upward direction. So what happens? As a result of that, this coil ABCD will rotate in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, and along with the coil, see the split rings also rotate. Okay, P is here, P is connected to A and Q is connected to this end D. So along with the coil, this split ring also rotate. So you see, initially the coil ABCD is like this. A is connected to the split ring P and D is connected to the other half of the split ring Q. Okay, then we have seen that the force AB, which is acting on this arm AB, pushes it downwards, and the force acting on this arm CD pushes it outwards, so that this coil rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so it is rotating in the anti-clockwise direction and it will be like this after half rotation. Okay, that is AB arm comes to this side and the CD arm comes to this side. Okay, and the split ring Q has come to this side and the split ring P has come to this side and Q has come to this side. Okay, that is at half rotation, Q makes contact with the brush X and P makes contact with the brush Y. Okay, this was the initial initial arrangement. Then at half rotation, this arm AB has come to this side and CD has come to this side. Okay, and P has gone to this side, Q has gone to this side. Okay, so at half rotation, Q makes contact with the brush X and P makes contact with the brush Y. Okay, so you see, initially the current was flowing through the path current was flowing along the path A, B, C, D. You can just see the arrow marks marked here. Current was flowing in this direction A, B, C, D. Okay, along this path A, B, C, D. Okay, now see, now DC has come to this side, AB has come to this side. This is a positive terminal, negative terminal. So current is flowing from the positive terminal to the negative terminal through the brushes. Okay, so at half rotation, after half rotation, you can see that the current is flowing along the path DCBA. Okay, that is, here the current was flowing along ABCD, but now the current is flowing along the path DCBA. That is, the direction of current in the coil has reversed. A device that reverses the direction of flow of current through a circuit is called a commutator. So in electric motors, the split rings act as a commutator. Okay, see, now the current flows along the path DCBA. Okay, here this arm AB was pushed down and this arm CD was pushed up. But after half rotation, the arrangement is like this. Okay, now this arm CD, what will be the direction of force acting on this arm CD? See, we can make use of Fleming's left hand rule. I am considering the case of this arm CD. Magnetic field is from left to right. I haven't drawn those axles and these magnetic poles etc. here. I just drawn this part only. Okay, but there is a magnetic field. Okay, after half rotation, this coil becomes like this. That's all. Alright, so there is a magnetic field from left to right now. So I am just pointing my forefinger in the direction of magnetic field from left to right. And for this arm CD, the current is flowing from D to C. That is from down to up like that. Okay, so I am just pointing my middle finger in the direction of current. Alright, so my forefinger is in the direction of magnetic field left to right and my middle finger is in the direction of current from D to C. So you can see that my thumb is pointed in the downward direction. That is a force acting on this arm CD is in the downward direction. That is a force acting on this arm CD pushes it downwards. Okay, now let's see what was the direction of force acting on this arm AB. So again, I am just taking my left hand. We are making use of Fleming's left hand rule here. I am just pointing my forefinger in the direction of magnetic field from left to right. I just want to point my middle finger in the direction of current. So for this case, the current is flowing from B to A now. So current is flowing in this direction. So that is correct here. Then you can see that my thumb is pointed in the upward direction. Okay, that means the force acting on this arm AB that pushes it in the upward direction. Alright, so the reversal of current also reverses the direction of force acting on the two arms. That is, in the earlier case, the direction of current was like ABCD, along this path ABCD. Now the direction of, after half rotation, that is at half rotation, the direction of current has reversed. Now it is from DCBA. It is along the path DCBA. Okay. Now see, in earlier case, AB, the arm AB was pushed down and the arm CD was pushed up. But now, the arm CD, you can see that arm AB was pushed down, but in this case, the arm AB is pushed up. Okay, here the arm CD was pushed down, but in this case, pushed up, but in this case, the arm CD is pushed down. Okay, that is the reversal of current also reverses the direction of force acting on the two arms. So what happens? See, you just consider this as that coil ABCD. Initially, it was like this ABCD. Then after half rotation, it is rotating in the anti-clockwise direction now. AB was pushed down and CD was pushed up. So after half rotation, it becomes like this. Okay, AB comes to this side and CD comes to this side. Now, the force acting on this arm CD, it is in the downward direction. And the force acting on this arm AB is in the upward direction. So what happens? The coil will move in the anti-clockwise direction again. That is, the coil will rotate half a turn more in the same direction. That is, the coil completes a full rotation. Right. That is, initially the coil was like this, now ABCD. After half rotation, at half rotation, it became like this, DCBA. Again, the coil will rotate half a turn more in the anti-clockwise direction. So, the coil has come to the initial arrangement. Okay, which is same to the initial arrangement. Alright, that is, the coil has completed one full rotation now. So, the reversing of current is repeated at each half rotation, which gives rise to the full rotation of the coil to the axle. So, you see, we used electrical energy and we got mechanical energy. That is, we got the rotations of this coil. That is, electrical energy has converted into mechanical energy. Just think about the working of an electric fan. It actually works based on the principle of conservation of electrical energy. Conversion of electrical energy into mechanical energy. That is rotary motion of the fan. Okay, that is, fan has a motor in it which converts this electrical energy into mechanical energy and provides the rotary motion of the fan. Okay. Now, commercial motors, this is actually the case of a simple motor. Commercial motors use electromagnet in the place of permanent magnet. Commercial motors use large number of turns of conducting wire in the current carrying coil, not a single coil of wire. They will use a large number of turns of the conducting wire in the current carrying coil. And commercial motors use a soft iron core on which this coil is wound. The soft iron core on which the coil is wound plus the coils is actually called as an armature. Okay, armature. This enhances the power of the motor. So, in this video, we have discussed about what an electric motor is and how does it work or how it works. I hope you understood this. Thank you.